We'll start the session. I'll share my screen. Please confirm me whether you can see my screen. Okay. In the last session, we have seen that what is an API in last two sessions. I think you both are new, right? Okay. I'll give you a quick 5 minutes recap what we have discussed in the last session. So, uh, the topic we are discussing is APIs, one of the system design concept, and we all know that it is abbreviated as application programming interface. Day-to-day life will use these apps like Instagram, Uber, Swiggy, Amazon, ChatGPT. So we know that if a non-technical person, they can see the front end, the UI part of our Instagram app, and they don't know the what is the engineering part, what is the behind the scenes for every button click, for every UI you will see in your Instagram app. Last year, like in the last session, we have taken the example of Instagram. So in that context only, I'm going to explain now. Instagram, like we have taken the login example, how login happens, then how APIs transmit that request with username and password in the JSON format, and request goes to the server. Then server again queries to the database. If the database returns the matching username and password, then server does some of the core application logic. For example, if the user is banned or if the user is active, like that, and the response will get back to the login page, that is UI, and we are successfully logged in. So actually, the main thing here is we want to talk to servers. Why do we talk to servers? Like, if we install an Instagram app, actually its code doesn't reside in our phone when we install it. Just the UI part, just the front end you can able to see. Actually, the code and the logic resides somewhere. It is hosted somewhere in the server. So Meta has its own servers, so it will reside there. Other than that, we will be having some of the server providers like cloud. We can often hear like AWS is one of the cloud providers, server providers. We can host applications there. So we have taken the login example, and the actual definition, it is like a contract. As you can see, APIs are, they are in the middleman between the client and the server. Here is the contract that allows two software systems. Software systems in the sense front end is are one system, back end is are one system. In the back end, we'll get two. One is server and the database. How these in middleman, how these they communicate in a standardized way is the API. So standardized way in the sense like it follows some of the rules and regulations. It not like I will follow my own rules, you will follow your own rules, you will follow your own protocols. No. In the world, every applications follows some standardized rules. For that reasons only we can see multiple bunch of applications. They are more in the sense they are following these rules and building the applications that are actually used by many users. Same like API request has four fields. One of the endpoint. What is mean by endpoint? Like you will see when you hit the login button, you'll get slash login. Or if you want to get your see followers list, you'll get slash followers. If the user you want to see, if the post you want to see your post, your reels, that is the whole endpoint. The endpoint, the actions we perform on endpoint or HTTP methods like get, put, delete, post, patch, etc. And we have headers as well, which will be like will follow one of the standardized way, like communication language. The language is JSON format. We use JSON because it is lightweight. We will be having multiple languages, communication languages, like XML. It is used by traditional thing, traditional applications like that. And the payload, which is consisting of actual or body. So API request is combination of endpoint, method, headers plus body. Same in the sense response consists of two fields. One is status code and other is response body. actual the data which is coming back. And we'll be having some of the status codes as well, like whether it is successful, whether we'll be having some of the server issues, client issues. 404, you have often seen 404 like resource not found, that kind of these messages will be understood by the developers, but the actual message you need to give so that the users can understand. Users cannot understand these status codes. For that reasons, we will return some of the custom message like redirect to URL, redirect to login page, like that. Same, the APIs will be having like nowadays, no one are building APIs from scratch. Even ChatGPT uses multiple APIs like weather, security, location, GPS that Google provides, and the data storage, where data will it fetches huge amount of data. Search engines, finance, API also is built on top of these multiple APIs. So I'll take a pass. Like you got an idea, right? What an API, like how in real world API works. Hello. So you guys got an idea, right? What an API does. Like any questions you can ask because I want this to be an interactive session, guys. Okay. So what about you, Subhalakshmi? Yeah. If someone asks you what is an API, like what the response can be from your end, like what will be the response? Like what will be your answer if someone asks you what is an API? Yeah, it fetches data, like it transmits data packets. It's like communication between two systems. If we think Instagram is a software, in Instagram there is front end is one system and back end is one system. How the data is transmitted, it is through APIs. You guys got an idea, right? What is an API, what API does, how the response is, request and response. So if you have any doubts, please be like interactive, guys. Okay. Yeah. In this session, we will understand what happens when you hit an API. So, we have discussed that APIs in Instagram way. So now in this session, we will understand actually, like if you hit an endpoint with the HTTP method, what the journey, how it will be, how backend, how the response will come back to you, behind the scenes what happens till you request and till you get response within just that 1 second, what it happens. You'll understand now that behind the scenes. So you will ask the users, this is the endpoint we will hit. Like for example, if you hit I want something amazon.com or google.com. If you are a user, if you are a person who is already logged into amazon.com, you'll get user slash login and you're doing login. Like authorization, bearer JWT token along with your like if you search here something like amazon.com, it has been opened within just fraction of I think 10 millisecond. It got open because I'm already a like we can already do sign in here. Within fraction of second it has been opened this application. So behind this application you'll be authorized to see like if I log in here I can authorize to see what my orders are, what my things are, limited to what I can do. While login, they will give me one JWT token as well so that I they can recognize me like I have logged in. So this is our request. It is asking get request, like get my details, user slash and the user ID is 123. We don't know the name of that user, the email IDs, and like I have stored age as well. I'm just getting 123 user ID. And while logging in, I have already generated JWT token which resides in the front end. So let's see the journey. This is client and this is the server. Behind the scenes, what and all the things happens, and actually the data that 123 related data resides in the database. Here, the journey of one API request. The client, the person you is asking 123. Actually, so where the journey begins, you will request something. Now, as you hit this Amazon.com, the same thing will be having one web server. So, web server is nothing but this overall Google browser. In backend, it is also hosted somewhere, that is web server. The DNS. Actually, Amazon.com, it the our server won't take the same thing. Server only understands IP addresses in the 123, like 123 125.0.0.0, that is local IP address will be knowing. In the same way, for every Amazon.com, Google.com, will be having that particular IP addresses. So actually, to server, it won't go Amazon.com. It goes that IP address. The change that from text you will understand to the number server understand, that change is done by DNS. See, you can see here. DNS, it is like translates a human readable domain. Domain in the sense, Amazon is one of the domain. Amazon.com. Here domain is, its name is Amazon, that is domain, such as api.example.com into an IP address, so the client knows where to send the request. So what happens when you enter a URL in your browser? When you enter a URL, actually that domain name is converted into the related IP address by the DNS. Then the IP address we will be known. Then IP, like browser, again that IP address get back to the browser. Now browser knows which server it can talk to. That IP address goes to the load balancer. Like Amazon.com will be hosted in multiple locations in the world. Like there are many multiple users as well. So how the request goes, how the response comes, like load balancer sits in front of our servers so that it can manage the traffic. If I'm having, for suppose in Bengaluru location, I'm having 100 requests just in 1 minute, what I will do, what my load balancer will do, it is very much intelligent that it translates 30 requests to one server, nearby servers, 30 requests to another server, 30 requests to another server. That is the thing done by the load server. Actually, it is a traffic distributor. Why do we need load balancer? Because one server cannot handle the just one server. We cannot send 100 requests to one server because it will become slow. For that reasons, we will keep our data in multiple servers. We'll host in multiple servers so that user will be, it will be available to the users. Later, we'll be having reverse proxy. Until here, until the load balancer, client knows, like load balancer, like client doesn't know web, always web server hides the client data and it gives its own public IP address. Till now, when the load balancer hits, the IP address till here it will stays. It is like public. What the server think, from here the server part comes. What the server thinks, my load balancer only talking to me, and I don't know the behind the scenes of it. I don't know which client is talking to me. Like it will hide, like client in the sense like through IP address. Client will be having an IP address. Now that IP address will not be known to the server because web server knows it, not the actual server it is residing. Then reverse proxy come into picture. With the help of IP address of load balancer, reverse balancer sits in between load balancer and the actual or servers. Reverse proxy, why we use? We use for redirecting URLs like the gateways. The HTTP, it is like we'll send request which is HTTPS, right? Actually, I'll show you. HTTPS. Actually, it is encrypting our data. That decryption works here. Uh, Reverse proxy does decryption so that it can find particular servers. Reverse proxy is simply like it will be transmitting to particular servers, redirecting URLs. Then the actual part comes. The API gateways will goes to our server. Then it will seize the method, that is there is a get method, and it is asking a HTTP get method, and the endpoint is users. It routes to that particular controller. Then authentication will works, like you cannot directly fetch the details, run in the server in the controller. Authentication happens, who is the user, who you are asking, whether the user is permissible to ask this, if someone else is asking, etc. That authentication part will be done and authorize it, like whether the user can able to perform these particular tasks, etc. And then the business logic, it will execute the business logic behind that. Like if I want to get users 123 with the get method, then that particular business logic will execute. At last it will query the database. So this will be it will be heavy for you guys to understand. I'll show you the steps behind it, then we'll come back to it, like how we once I click on send API request, how the flow will happen. See, the request we are following, this is the request, and it is saying get request, I want to get 123 ID, and the host is, you can think this is just an example host. It can be google.com, it can be amazon.com, it can be instagram.com, anything. And the authorization is will be given one JWT token. If we log in into an Instagram app also, it will resides in our front end, in our UI. Based on that, if that matches, then only our server allows us to do perform processing, etc. And we are like, I want to accept only JSON format, I want like communication language will be in the JSON form. So the request part, it is understood, right? Now the what happens when we enter a URL. Now here, first of all, DNS will come into picture, domain name system, which translates our domain name, that is instagram.com, to its actually the IP address of it will be different. That change will be done by DNS, and it is given back to the browser. Now the IP address tells the client where to send the network request. Now HTTP will come into the picture. It needs to encrypt our data, right, from unauthorized attackers, etc. It will be always encrypted with HTTP protocol. This is like one of the rule we are following. I want to secure my web applications. Why do we need a load balancer? First of all, like Meta, we can take example. We'll be having multiple servers, or Amazon, we can take. Like in Mumbai, one server is there. In Kolkata, one server is there. I'm hosting my application here, there, etc. So someone from Bangalore has request, I purchase some things. Like the first of all, load balancer checks whether this server is healthy or this server. The server in Mumbai is healthy, or the server in Kolkata is healthy. If the server in Kolkata is already like with heavy traffic from other states, then it bypass it goes to our request goes to our server one. We can see load balancer goes to any of the servers. This becomes extremely important when traffic increases. One of the main important thing with load balancers is traffic management. Then the reverse proxy come into picture. In front, actually reverse proxy come into the picture between the load balancer and our servers. It will be like changing till here we'll be following the IP address of load balancer. Now we need to go through any of the servers. For that reasons, we'll be hiding some of the like URL redirecting to that particular server is done by reverse proxy. And also reverse proxy does that HTTPS, it is secure, it is encrypted. Now I need to decrypt. That algorithms also performed by reverse proxy between the load balancer and the servers. Like we can see HTTPS termination, like it is removing and it is converting back to the, it is now decrypting data, routing, security, caching, and traffic management. If the data is recently has been asked by the user, then it can, uh, in the moment, it can give. Here we use caching here in this place as well. Now the request reaches your API. Now the finally the request reaches our API, and it sees which endpoint it is, what HTTP method we are using, and what we are asking, and it finds where is that, in which controller this part of code is present. So before it can process anything, before it reaches the controller, it needs to do the authentication part and authorization part. Authentication, like who are you, like who is fetching the data and how much access he is having. Like if you are a user and you are asking like admin permissions, or like adding some changes to the permission which is not allowed, then you are definitely, it rejects the things, that is, are you allowed to access this, that is authorization. Once the authentication and authorization is done, this is done when you are sending the data. When the data is coming back to the user, then we won't do any authentication and authorization, because the connection is already established. Now the API routing happens. It goes to particular controller and gets user execute this particular code. That part of code it will execute. Actually, then the controller hit back to the business logic. It is not necessary that all the code must be written in the controller only. We'll be having service layer as well. Here we will see the business rules for getting data, what the business rule might be for getting data, and again it will fetch the data. It is low level part of our code, repository data access. At low level part of our code, it will query to the database. Like, does user 123 exist? Is the user active? Is this user allowed to access the data? Service might ask all these questions. The request finally hits the database, and the repository part, data access, queries to the database with this query, and we will get, if the data matches, we will get that data. Like I have got here, I got my name and email address, username, we can say. Now the response travel back the same way how it came, like how it is forwarded, and come back in the same path, except that it will like it will hide, like it won't do that authentication and authorization part, because the connection is already established how the data came, and in the same part it comes to the client. Now client receives the response 200. Okay, this is user sees in the log. Actually, the in the UI we will see only successful login and the name and email address we can able to see. The front end receives this response and updates what the user sees on the screen. So actually, the UI part you will, every day you will see. Every day you will use Instagram UI. Like you will book Uber for transportation, etc. So here, in the sense, we need to understand the backend behind it. This is where the API system design part comes into the picture. The complete picture we can see: client, then client goes to the DNS, then the request goes to the load balancer. Here reverse proxy, like encrypted HTTPS will be get back to the decrypted, and we will be having that HTTPS slash slash our domain name we can actually able to see here, and then our API server, API router, authentication path, which is done while we are requesting, and it will execute some of the core business logic. Then data goes to the database. Database fetches related, like if the query matches, that data will get back to us in the response format to the client. So I think we'll come here, we'll see everything will come in this order and get back to the client in the same order. So I'll take pass here before jumping to the next. Like Or like, how have you understand till here? Hello, hello, can you hear me? Yeah, yeah. Let me know, like, which part is concerning you, and did you got overall picture on this? Like a real world, real example in the sense. So, so actually, what I have shown you here now, you can only able to see this part in every application. Like in every application you will use, you can able to see only this part. These are behind the scenes. Like I'll show you this picture. For you can able to see this picture, right? Did you understand this picture? Okay, so this part is there now after hitting login button. Actually, this part is that part. Here, that DNS and resolution things, reverse proxy, that is not explained there in this picture. Yeah. So yeah, Gayatri, what about you? Like everything you got it, like how behind the scenes, everything. If you have any doubts, please ask guys. No worries, because this is not any professional anything else. But we are here to purely understand things, purely asking why behind that. I'm here to help you in that. Hmm. Okay. So you understood what DNS does, load balancer, everything, right? Like what is their role here, what they are doing here. Okay. So any questions in your mind regarding this? Like if someone asks you, okay. So will we go with some of the questions, guys? I really want you. I appreciate if you can able to answer that. Like what happens when you enter a URL in your browser? So what will be the answer for this? Hmm. Load balancer. Hmm. 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 Okay, exact the same thing we will see here. Like domain using establish a network connection, sends an HTTP request, the server processes it, and finally sends request back. So why do we need a load balancer? What will be for this? Yeah. So I will just make you. I'll just correct your understanding here. Like you understood, I got it, but the explanation is load balancer. First thing, load balancer in your mind you should get is it is a traffic management. Yeah. For second thing is it checks the healthy of our servers. Third thing is like it will transmit, it will routes. If one user is already handling many uh, client request, you can say, not client and server both. If particular server is handling Like if we are having 100 clients, they are requesting 100 requests or directly hitting to our one server, it won't work. It will directly goes to the load balancer. Now load balancer won't do anything. It only does no code part, nothing it does. Its only job is transmitting data, like handling the traffic, go this way, go for this way, 30 30 30. It will equally divide that. You got it right. Yeah. Load balancer, like we can see here, incoming traffic across multiple servers, improve availability so that one server must not go down. If the other server is slow as well, then it will route traffic to other servers and prevent a single server from becoming a bottleneck. Bottleneck in the sense, like it will not gonna bust till the neck. It should not be like that. All 100 server route to one server. It won't happen in real world. You got it right. Yeah. And what about authentication versus authorization? What? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, please, guys, please. Hmm. Like user, you should get user. Yeah. Yeah. So authentication in the sense where user credentials, like username and password. Who is the user, like authorization, like to which limit he can be having actions to perform. If you are a student, then you will be having till you need to study and give exam. You don't have you cannot perform actions that your teacher does, like correcting your giving marks to the students and correcting papers. No, whatever the student responsibility, you can able to do that. Till that will be having, we are authorized to study and give exams. If we are a student, if we are a user, we are authorized to do get like we can able to see followers, we can able to see following in our Instagram app. We cannot able to like do other things, like we are a admin part, Instagram writing code. We are not authorized because Instagram is having already, Meta is having dedicated employees to write the code part. We are just here to interact with the UI. You got it right, guys. We are not authorized to write code because we are not in the company. Got it right? Hello? Yeah. So let's move the next question. What happens when an API request reaches the backend? Oh no, perform the like process the code. Yeah, yeah, correct. Hmm. Actually, user data will be in the database. Once we, when we like API request reaches to the backend does first of all it sees our URL. In the URL, yeah, controller. You might have seen controllers, services, repositories. You might have known, right? Yeah, controller, like in the Spring Boot, we'll be having controller, ASP.NET controllers are there. Like that, user controller is one of the big part. Inside that, we'll be having multiple things what user can do. Then the business logic will be executed. Then comes the part of database. First of all, authorization and authentication, then reaches routing, business logic, data access, data interaction, and finally response is created. So, what will be the answer for these guys? What happens if one user becomes 1 lakh user? In our current, like what example that I have taken is this is just one request, and we are asking one users to get data. What do you think if one user becomes 1 lakh users? For example, you can take Instagram app itself. Like you got the question right. Hello. Hmm. Hmm. So we'll be having, yeah, yeah. So we can see a single server architecture may not be sufficient. That's the first thing. And we may need multiple application servers, load balancing, caching, database scaling, distributed system techniques we need. Like why Amazon is maintaining its servers in Mumbai, Kolkata, multiple locations, because it is handling some billions of users, right? So for that, because Amazon scaled their servers, it has enhanced, it has distributed all over the world, so that it will never goes down. It always be available for its customer. So in we have seen one API request in this. So in the part one user becomes, what if one user becomes 1 lakh user? Like that 1 lakh to 1 million, one server definitely crashes. The database becomes slow and everyone requests the same data. Traffic we need to handle. For that reasons, scalability comes into the picture. How can we make a scalable system which is available, reliable, and in performance also it is quick? Like you can see Amazon, right? Right now I think around some 1 lakh to 10 lakh users will be opening Amazon. It is able to handle without going its servers down. You're getting things right, guys, because it is scalable in such a way. It is using some of the caching techniques, database scaling, etc. These all are the part of system design. Got it right? Hello. Okay. So we'll discuss this scaling part, how things are going, like everything. So this is the till here it's the agenda of our class, guys. Like what the when we hit an API, when we hit an like if we are using Amazon, how the API works, how things works, etc. This is the agenda of our whole class. So I am now going to open like sessions. If you have any questions, by the way, I need to know your background, guys, what you are doing. Okay. So you, Gayatri? Hmm. 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 Okay. So you got at least some idea, right? What like how APIs works, how things works. So any questions, guys? Like you were facing, like like what you want next classes to be, how it gonna be from my side, extra. Like basic process in the sense, like in building an app. Okay. And yours, Gayatri, any like from yours, and you need something to add? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. What you said, quarters. Quarkus, I need to. Okay. So Spring Boot is the backend of like part of Java, and Quarkus in the same. Okay. No, actually, I don't have idea on this. So actually, like current my work is agentic SDLC workflows. I'm like working on that in my current project. So it is like for banking, I am working currently. Yeah, yeah, agentic workflows. How multiple agents come into do HDLC part, software development. Yeah, so we were learning some spec driven things as well, and actually tomorrow I'm having that demo, guys. I need, yeah, yeah, and I have prepared it, and it was like very much new. Within 2 days I have implemented that, and tomorrow I need to show. Let's see what manager says regarding that. I'm a working professional software engineer only. Yeah. What? Yeah, yeah, Gayatri. Like I'll be exploring things, and like I'm saying from my end, and actually you guys needs to tell me like what your specific requirements like. Like Subhalakshmi told like she wants to build a small app on this. So I want from you guys to like if you want something to bring up on this, I'll definitely work on that. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, sure. And you work on that corpus, Gayatri. You, I'll also check regarding that. If I found any good resource, I'll definitely share in community if you want it. Yeah, Gayatri. Yeah, Subhalakshmi, we'll end this session. Yeah, yeah, sure. And if possible, I'll let you know in the next session how it went well. Okay, okay, Subhalakshmi. Okay, Gayatri. Yeah, yeah. Welcome. You can leave, guys. Yeah, bye.